Hey, everybody. Andy Linneman, John Foster here with Ian Miller. And we're thrilled to have Ian with us. Ian is schooling us in one of the All-22 leagues where he's 2-0. And that's as big a smile as you're going to get out of Ian right there. The words Ian is 2-0.
Hey,
that's a smile.
Not only is he 2-0, what two teams have you beat, Ian?
Well, I gotta thank you guys.
Did you really? It's both of us. Is that right? I didn't even know that. Is that right? I lost to you this week.
I lost him. I lost him this week or week 2. You lost him week 1. So
congratulations. I remembered I did send you a text congratulating you when I realized the end was near last night. Like, are doing all the permutations. There's like, this one's done.
Yeah.
So I'm 0-2 in the Perseverance League.
Yeah, I'm 0-2 in the You Got Moss League.
Yeah, so, I saw that. Well, we don't want to let the cat out of the bag. John and I have been working on this sort of an analytics exercise to try to figure out how to start people, who to know who to start and who not to start. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But John, why don't you take it away?
Hey, I'll do it. Hey, man, we're just going to start with a couple questions. I was just going to do this as we launch the podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you live? What do you do? Kind of in general. And then I'll play a lightning round with you and ask you several questions pretty quickly. So tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name's Ian Miller. I'm from, I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. And, I don't do anything right now, unfortunately, work-wise anyways. I hurt my back about 6 months ago, and I've been just recovering. I'm trying to find a less strenuous job, less physically demanding job, trying to, to work with it. And then, so that's my sort of,
What'd you do before?
I was at Centos, restaurants, there's all sorts of different types of businesses and stuff. And yeah, it was a little physically demanding. It wasn't too bad. I mean, I've done worse, but it just, I guess one day I just pulled my back or something, and now I've got an inflated disc and can't really do much at all.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Ian.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm getting through. I'm getting to spend time with the kids, so that's not too bad.
Yeah. So tell us about your kids.
Well, I've got
about your kids.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's 11, my Lucy, and then my son Jude is 5. So she just started middle school. He just started elementary school. So, we're just watching them grow, having a good time.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to play a game that Andy's always like, let's be creative and do something. So I decided I was going to do a lightning round. So I'll ask you a few questions just quickly, and we'll go quick answer, and then I'm going to ask you the next one. So tell us something that most people won't know about you.
Oh, geez. Something most people won't know about me. Dang. I don't
know. Back to that one.
He's an ex-convict.
I'll come back to that one. So what's your favorite sports team?
I'm going to say Ohio State, Buckeyes. And it used to be the Browns. Not a Browns fan anymore. Now it's I'm a Bucks fan, Buccaneers fan now. But I've been an Ohio State fan most of my life, so I'm gonna roll with that.
Okay. So being from Knoxville, why would you be an Ohio State fan?
Well, I've lived in Knoxville most of my life, but I'm from Ohio originally. Okay. And my whole family's from there. My dad lives in Ohio still. He was born and raised there, and we moved here when I was a kid. But I've been an Ohio State fan most of my life.
What's your favorite sport to watch?
Football.
What was your favorite sport to play?
I wish I loved playing football when I was a kid. I didn't care about sport. I played a lot because my dad wanted me to, but I didn't care about playing sports as a kid. Now I wish I did. I think I'd have loved playing football if I had the same passion now that I did, if I had it then that I do now.
Okay. Hey, Ian, just to say this, I don't know if the microphone on your device is covered, but you're fading in and out. So keep it so that that may not be the issue. It could be Wi-Fi or something. But
I think it was me. I think I have my pinky up under my phone.
Yeah.
So I'll keep it away.
I figured that might have been it. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm hoping it was your pinky and not something else. So let's keep it rated G for now.
Gotcha.
So what's your favorite ice cream?
Rocky Road.
All right. Cake or pie?
Cake.
Okay. All right. Favorite restaurant?
Aubrey's. Have you guys ever heard of Aubrey's?
I don't know.
No, tell us about it.
It's I think it might be fairly local to Tennessee, maybe, but it's like a little bit more upscale, like Outback Steakhouse kind of. Not super upscale, but it's just one of those. It's one of the few restaurants where I'll go in there and not know what I'm going to order each time. You
All right.
know, I'll try something every time.
Love it.
Before your back injury, what was your 40 time?
Oh, I'm trying to think of what my fast. I don't think I've ever run an official 40, but I think at my fastest, I probably could have run like a 4.7 maybe. You
Okay.
know, like when I was younger, I was fairly fast as a kid, but I'm nowhere near like some of these guys. You know.
All right. And so I'm going to go back to the first one. What's something most people wouldn't know about you?
I listen to and participate in whatever way heavy music, metal. You know, I
Metal?
I used to be in a metal band and I listen to. I mean, I listen to just a lot of different stuff, but I mean, like what everyone would consider, death metal or scream or whatever. Like that's probably my favorite genre, and it's what I tend to listen to most.
You play an instrument?
Yeah, I play drums.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I played drums since I was about 12, so I've been playing. It's hard to play right now. I've tried every like once a month for the last 6 months, and it's not easy, but I've been playing for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Acoustic or an electric kit?
Well, I have an electric kit now because I live in the suburbs and I don't have a great place to play in. I have an acoustic kit that I have one spot that I can play where the neighbors won't hear it, and that's right in the middle of the living room. So I can't keep them set up there. So I just keep that just stashed away and play it whenever I can. But I don't know if you know, but setting up and tearing down drums is just very time consuming.
Very much so.
Yeah,
And it sounds like you want to stay married, so you don't just set them up and keep them there. So,
right. But my father-in-law got me an electronic kit for Christmas like a year ago. I keep those set up in the closet, so I play when I can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are fun.
cool enough. That was my questions.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know if you know this, Ian, but I play music. I don't know that I play it well. I'm not a metal guy, but
Mhm.
I've got a bunch of, as my kids have moved out, I've turned bedrooms into like other stuff so they won't move back, you see. If you met my children, you'd understand.
Right.
And one of them is I've created a music studio up in one of the bedrooms, which is pretty cool. And these days, all you have to have is a piece of software. You can get Pro Tools
Hmm.
that come on these interfaces, guitar interfaces, so you can get free
Sure.
software. So I've become pretty proficient at Pro Tools.
There you go. Yeah, I got a roommate back in the day. He's actually gone through college and everything for music and music sound engineering and stuff. And before he got into college, we would mess around with that stuff. And we had this room on the side of the garage that in the house we used to live in that
Yeah.
we played music in constantly. We did all the little crazy things to turn it into a studio, and it was a lot of fun just to mess around with acoustics and stuff like that for sure.
Yeah. For me, I find that music, I have like certain things. Music, All-22, I use as a way to stay connected to certain friends.
Sure.
So like this is like the reason we're doing this is like it's kind of an offshoot of that sort of thing. Like I've got 4 or 5 friends that are buddies of mine that I get together and play music with pretty regularly.
Right.
So were it not for that, and especially since I know how to use Pro Tools, a lot of people want to come over. Like I got
Right.
this thing I like to record this, and
Hmm.
I've got video production stuff, so I can kind of turn it into, not great high tech stuff, but decent enough, right? For,
Yeah.
for fun.
Yeah.
And so I find that stuff like that, bourbon is another one. I've got some friends that we're kind of connected through bourbon, and so I just find that I work from home and you can become pretty isolated. So finding things like this, like All-22, to keep old relationships fresh and develop new relationships is something I really enjoy. And
Yeah.
I'm spending a lot more time with John Foster than I really would like, unfortunately. But that's neither here nor there. Honestly, seriously, I'm spending more time with John in the last 4 or 5 months since he's gotten into finally I pinned him to the mat and he said, fine, I'll join. Little did I know the guy was going to like go off and become unhinged and
Right.
building spreadsheets. And uh, let's talk about your All-22. So we don't have to camp out on this, but I do want to say for anybody who listens to this, that Ian has the coolest idea for a fantasy platform where you could take an All-22 league and incorporate contracts. So he's a really sharp guy with a sharp mind. And if anybody out there is looking for anybody who's trying to find somebody who's had a little bit of a gray collar job and turn it into a white collar job, the guy is wicked smart. So just keep that in mind. But you fell
And
out.
I love the salary cap idea.
Mhm.
And that you gotta keep under a certain salary cap. I'm trying to figure out the All-22 platform right now and how it all
Right.
works and whatnot. But I love the concept of everything you put forward. So
Look, sometime in the future, maybe we'll figure out a way to incorporate that. Ian, so how'd you find All-22 to begin with? Like you got in 2022 also, correct?
Yeah. So this was crazy. I actually had a Zoom call with Ray from All-22 about 2, 3 months ago and about this type of thing. But back in 2020, I had a very similar idea to what All-22 became, where I've always been a PFF guy. Like I discovered PFF through their podcast in 2018. It was just before the 2018 draft. I was looking for draft podcasts, and I remember listening, and they were talking about how Saquon Barkley shouldn't be a first round pick. He's a running back. And I was like, who the hell are these guys? And then started listening to them and listening to the analytics stuff. And I was like, man, I'm starting to see what you're talking about. And so I started really getting into PFF, and I love the idea of the grading and turning that into fantasy points, and it's using all the positions and everything. And so I actually built something on Google Sheets that was, I called it Fantasy World, but it was the same basic concept where there's positional value, there's every position, I mean even the depth charts where if your guy didn't hit a snap count, you'd get an alternate, like the same, very
No kidding,
similar.
really?
Yeah. And so I was on Instagram or something one day, and I saw this post where it's like All-22, a new fantasy league. I'm like, okay. And I joined like the pre-order or whatever you call it. And I got the notifications like, this is what it's going to be. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like I wasn't one of those guys like, oh, I wish I'd had put it out there first. Like I'm just glad it exists. Like this is awesome.
Yeah.
And so, and immediately, like as soon as I realized what was going on, I emailed them with all the ideas that I had that they didn't use. Like, hey, if you can incorporate my ideas in any way, please, like take it, because this is such a cool foundation for a platform. And so I've just loved actually being able to use this, because I never actually rolled mine out. I just had an idea that I built. So it's kind of like, almost like, it's weird to say, but it's almost like a dream come true. Like my exact idea is a reality now.
You have such a great attitude for someone stealing your idea. So I give you a lot of credit for that as a person. Most people would be, kind of waking up at night in a cold sweat. So I really respect that about you. And I do really want to do that salary thing one of these days. My problem is, so I'm in 3 leagues for the first time, Ian. Have you ever been, so you're in 2 right now, correct?
All-22 leagues, yeah.
And you're in how many other leagues?
Um,
Remind me. I forget. I know the answer, but I've forgotten.
I know it's somewhere in the realm of like 15.
Yeah. You're like
Yeah.
Steve Lamb. I think Steve Lamb is like in 28.
Yeah.
And
I've been around there, but I've cut it down a lot.
I have a hard time managing the 3 leagues. And I think in the Perseverance League, I'd love it if someday somebody else would be the commissioner, because it's like one less thing because I'm a commissioner in another league. That's plenty.
Right.
But we have all these guys in this league. Somebody will take over that mantle here
yeah,
eventually.
we'll just roll it off as somebody does it for a year and passes on.
Yeah, I love that idea. And so, I guess what I'm wondering is how the heck do you keep all that straight? Because I have a hard time, like seriously, I'm figuring out how do I kind of manage these three leagues.
Well, weirdly, like as you were talking, I was kind of thinking about how I manage them, because, what I typically do every off season is like, somebody, a friend of mine, I've gotten a small group of friends, kind of like you were talking about. It's 4 or 5 guys, we're all big into football. We have a group chat. We've never met personally. We used to have a podcast together, a few of us, but we all have like, oh, this cool idea for a different league. So we'll create it and do it. And if it doesn't work out this year, then we won't do it again. But like one league I created is called the Reverse League, where everybody drafts rookies first. Like normally Dynasty League, you draft a whole veteran setup and then you draft your rookies year in, year out. But in this league, we drafted 5 rookies each, and then from there we get veterans as like rentals every year. We do a veteran draft in August,
Interesting.
and we get to keep those guys throughout the year to supplement our rookies that we get to keep. And so that one we're going in our 5th year of that. So just kind of certain leagues that we've worked out the kinks that have lasted. So I'm not in a lot. I'm in like 2 standard leagues, just normal scoring, normal formatting, but all the rest of them are just they stay fresh because they're all different styles and formats. So I mean, it is tough to keep up with sometimes. Putting my waivers, setting up my lineups, but the one league I'm in is probably one of my favorites is my dad. 2 years ago, he asked me to be in. He and his buddies. He just joined it too, but his buddies started a league in 1992 that's still going, and they asked him to join, and he asked me to be his co-owner. So and this league started when I was 1 year old. So
Wow.
and here I am. And it's kind of fun seeing how they do it the old school. They put it on a fantasy platform now, but you could tell like these guys, they come in with pen and paper and magazines and all that stuff. I'm like, I've never had to do that. It's always been on my phone, on my laptop. They're very old school.
Yeah, nice. Well, the next time you roll through here, I know you came through Cincinnati like earlier this summer. The next
Mhm.
time you roll through, if there's an opportunity to meet people, we've got 3 or 4 of us in this league, and then 4 or 5. Some of those guys are also in another league where there's 5 or 6 of us that are Cincinnati based. So
Right.
if there's ever a way to make that happen, that'd be great. It's funny as I'm listening to you, uh, we were talking about before you jumped on, like, how do what's the best way to set your depth chart each week? And John and I have come up with what we feel like is a foolproof strategy. So we looked at your edge room for one of your teams, and we felt like we needed to help you set your depth chart for your edge room this week. Okay. So that's what we're going to do right now. All right.
All right.
Here we go.
And I have to follow through with this regardless, right?
Oh,
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 Micah
oh,
Parsons.
close.
We can remove Micah Parsons. So Micah Parsons is going into slot 1 of your edge room. Okay, here you go. This will be the guy. It could be a cut, could be a person. Let's see what happens.
You know,
Here you go. So we solved your problem for you. And I think that the answer is we've now decided that that's the solution so that we don't have as much blue and green on our bench and
okay.
orange and red. I need to do that from my defensive tackle room because Jalen Carter scored like a 12 on week 1 or something like that.
Mhm.
Had a lot to do with why I'm losing. And then this week it was Sauce Gardner. So I've got that same wheel set up to help me set up my corner room for next week. So whoever I'm playing next better watch out. John, is
All right.
play next week? We
Do what?
played one of the leagues this week, John.
who do you play next week? You
We
play Ethan.
It's me, right?
No, he plays Ethan next week in the Perseverance
I'm saying,
League.
who do I play? Well, I think you and I play each other next week in one of the leagues.
Yeah, and then Ian plays Ethan in the Perseverance League, and he plays Bass in the You Got Moss League.
Ian, here's a cool thing. So I don't know if
Okay.
have you met Ethan yet?
No, I tried to call him at his graduation party, but
That's
that's
right.
the
That's exactly right. On draft night,
Yeah.
or draft Zoom. That's exactly right. So he's now going to school in Indianapolis. He's a freshman there, living on campus in downtown Indy. And John has tickets to a Monday night game, to the Bengals Monday night game coming up on Monday. Had a
Right
couple
on.
of extra tickets, was kind enough to invite me. So I'll be there. I'll be the guy in the Bengals jersey. I'm sure you'll see me. And
I'll be wearing orange and black. Look for
yeah,
me.
I'll be wearing orange and black. And then John invited Ethan to come down from Indy, and he's going to come and join us at the Bengals game on Monday night.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
hey,
it's
he's
like,
a poor college kid. He doesn't have anything to do. So we figured we'd invite him.
so he's going to drive down in the afternoon, like early. I'm going to make sure if in case his parents would in some way see this, he's not coming down until after class. And then we're going to fill him full of coffee so he can drive home. I was like, you're welcome to crash at my place. John said the same. He said, nah, I think I'm better off at 1 a.m. And I'm like, I can remember those days when I would have given that answer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not me anymore. I did a
Me neither.
similar, I had a friend fly into Nashville for it was his birthday party a couple of years ago, and I didn't want to stay the night. I left at about midnight and drove 3 hours back to Knoxville. I'd never had an energy drink before in my life. That was the first time I ever had to buy an energy drink because I
40 between
Yeah.
Knoxville and Nashville. There isn't much on the road.
right. And so I still haven't. That was the only time I'd ever had an energy drink in my life was because I would have passed out on the road if I didn't.
Yeah. Did it actually keep you awake? You're still hoping to fall asleep sometime here real soon?
Yeah. Something like that. But
All
yeah,
right, guys. Hey, Ian, thanks so much, man. You're an awesome sport. Thanks for joining us. We'll put a video out in a few days once we get it edited down. Good luck this week. Hope you can make it 1-2 in Most and 3-0 in Perseverance.
Yep, I'm hoping.
Go get him,
Let's
brother.
come back in Perseverance. I mean, you got us both down. So if you'd spot us a game, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what, I hope you guys tie this week.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. That way I don't want either of you to lose. That's what I hope for you.
Oh,
Uh,
John, I told you he was a nice guy. John was saying what a jerk he is. I don't know. He's a really nice guy, I swear.
I'm just to say that
Just
ties
kidding.
like kissing your sister.
All right, man. You have an awesome night. Take care.
I
All right.
appreciate you too.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you, man.